Hello. So I've decided to make a video after a long time of not making any videos because I want to actually address something. I see way too many people at the moment getting distracted by all this outside diversion which is put out there via high level sorcery. Actually, it's not even high level, it's actually very low level sorcery, but it pretends to be high level. And it's all to get us distracted and to look to certain places instead of focusing on where we are at the moment. This is actually unacceptable, and these distractions are nothing more than ways to get off our own path, of our own, the original timeline trajectory. And this has been going on specifically since 9/11. Now, when 9/11 happened, I was 12 years old. Yeah, 12 years old, from what I remember. And I can remember coming back home from school and seeing it on the TV. And it was the first time I've ever looked at the news in absolute shock and horror. And that's what it was designed to do, put us in a state of shock and horror, to traumatise us. To traumatise particularly my generation, the millennials, who, for most of us at that time, were, still kind of basically children. So we were more easier to traumatise. But I even saw it in, adults who were probably even more traumatised than I was at the time. And so they have been doing these fear tactics, these traumatizations, via the media since then. Now, what happened back in 2020 was another one. I can remember at the time, back in 2020, when all that fucking shit went off in the media, I saw people running around like fucking headless chickens, while I was remaining calm the whole time. You see, it doesn't actually work on me, this sorcerer, anymore. Because I'm way above that. Because I fucking practice magic myself. And I practice fucking sorcery, shamanism, witchcraft, and all that myself. So it doesn't work on me. But it works on a lot of other people, and it works on most people. But I see people I thought would know better going along with all this shit. Going along with some fucking war, what's happening in another country, for the most part, they have absolutely no connection to whatsoever. On It's really about two, religions that were designed to control the populace. Yes, social engineering. Probably the more ancient social engineering, but yes, and it's lasted throughout this time. And, they're doing this in all scales. People getting caught up with it. You see, in the next few years, they're going to start laying out that. Well, they already start laying it out now. The transhumanist agenda. Now, why the fuck would anyone want to have something like a fucking chip put into their brain? Tempering with their own organic biology. You know why people are going to fall for it, aren't you? And this is it. The type of people will be the first to line up to get their fucking chip in the brain are people who basically have no power themselves. I don't need a fucking chip in my brain because I have a fucking biological, organic power. I'm not fucking joking, I do have fucking superpowers. But there's something what's organically in my own DNA that I accessed about probably over a decade ago, and I've been working on them ever since. The types of people who are going to get that chips in their brains are people who are so powerless themselves that they think it's going to give them more power. That's how they're going to fucking sell it. The reason why someone like me and other people watching this right now, we wouldn't have any interest in that, because we already have fucking superpowers and we're working on them every single day and gaining them and accessing them more and more and more and basically leveling up in ability. They don't want anyone to come to the realization of the fucking organic superpower that lies within them. They want them to have, something external come into them. There's a reason why, you see all the fucking superhero movies being pumped out every single year, and I'm a huge comic book fan, have been since throughout my whole life. I love the idea of superheroes. It's probably one of the things what did inspire me to basically gain and access the powers within myself. But they're pumping this out every single fucking year, and it's getting people interested in basically having superpowers. But they're going to come along and sell something that they think is going to give them fucking superpowers, but it isn't. It's going to connect them to the hive mind even more stronger than they are already. And when this happens, they're going to basically have know more about them, or whatever that's called, what I would call the so-called new AI will know more about them than they do. But that's, no one can know you more than you can know yourself. So it's a lie being given. Unless you sign a contract for something else to know more about you than you know yourself. This year, I've basically been leveling up a lot, and things have got better for me this year. I've had many experiences this year that I do want to share eventually. And I've been doing grid work as well. I've been going to megalithic sites, bringing light to those places. And I will continue to do so in the future. I'm actually a grid worker for this island that I'm on now. The island, what the Romans call Britain, but I have a more ancient name for it called Albion. And I'm a grid keeper of Albion. That was a position that was given to me since the time I was born. It is actually wired into my own astrological templating, my own soul code templating. Hence why I was fucking born this island. And there's others around you, around the world, who are meant to do the same for the geographical area that you're in. The more light we bring to these places, what have been forgotten for a long time, or at least forgotten in the way that they were meant to, meaning the way that they were meant to be accessed, and the true meaning behind them, rather than what we presume from our very modern understandings of what they mean. If that makes sense. But yeah, I just wanted to come back on here because I felt like I've been offline for a long time, and I have. There's reasons for me for doing that. And I'd like to say to all the men out there, now is the time to embrace your warrior spirit. It is time to be more of a man of action than a man of contemplation. Even though the contemplation does have its place. So, I will be back very soon. But for now, take care, and hails to the gods. the Esia and the Vanya.